What's poppin'? It's your boy Jay, that's me. Let's discuss and talk about NXT for June the 6th, 2023. This was a pretty decent episode of NXT for the most part. We're slowly but surely building towards the Great American Bash. We got quite some time for that. I think a good 6 to 7 weeks. I think it's 6 weeks. So we got quite some time to build for the Great American Bash. But this show was decent for the most part. Very decent. Very solid. So we kicked this off with Baron Corbin. He's walking through the halls of NXT. He sees a poster of Carmelo Hayes. He stares that down for a moment. Then he walks past Tyler Bate, Eddie Thorpe, and a couple of others. Corbin tells a production assistant to have his music played. Then Corbin comes through and does his entrance. Corbin gets on the mic and says he never thought he'd walk through these doors again, but he got the call and never looked back. He goes on about the call-ups, about how the call-ups are full of ego and entertainment. And then he walked in tonight, and the people there, here have no respect and wouldn't look him in the eyes. Corbin hears people in NXT talk about legacies and so on. And this is, and all this is making him sick. Corbin says he and the other OGs started in FCW and took NXT all the way to a packed house in Brooklyn, which equaled up to 16,000 plus fans. I think that was 2016? I think it was 2015 that happened, if I'm not mistaken. Corbin says he had no control over the last WWE draft, but he will have a say-so on the next because he'll make them regret signing contract. Corbin says the current NXT group is soft and weak and not as good as they think they are. And that falls on the NXT champion. Corbin goes on about Carmelo Hayes and how saying he got a taste of the main roster reality last week. So Ijla Dragunov comes out. Dragunov introduces himself and says he's not soft or weak. He's the most intense man in NXT. Dragunov says he has defeated everyone and is next in line for Carmelo Hayes. Dragunov says Corbin is targeting Hayes to make a point, but he's targeting Carmelo for the title. Dragunov makes it clear he'll go through Corbin if he has to. So there's a bit of back and forth between the two. Dragunov challenges Corbin to a match tonight. Corbin asks if he's sure he wants this after NXT Battleground. Dragunov shows off a nasty bruise on his side. It's real nasty. It's like purple and a mix of gray. I'm like, ugh. So Corbin says he'll be covered in bruises after the night. Ijla says he welcomes the challenge. Ijla leaves and Corbin poses. And then out of nowhere, Trick Williams attacks my boy from behind to a big pop. And officials run down to keep Trick and Corbin apart. So, pretty good way to start off the show. I'm glad that Corbin is in NXT for a while. He'll probably be there for a while. At least up until the Great American Bash, I would assume. So, that's a good month plus away. So, they'll probably keep him in there for a good little bit, which is great. It makes a lot of sense. Ijla going up against Carmelo Hayes, that's fine, but I would save that when Carmelo get ready to kind of leave and bow out and go to the main roster. I wouldn't just rush that. It would be a while, which I'm pretty sure they'll probably end up doing that probably around maybe Halloween Havoc. Is where we might see Carmelo Hayes versus Ijla Dragunov. Because that's a solid match right there, and that's something that I do want to see. I think that would be tremendous. And believe it or not, when that happens, I want Ijla to be the one to dethrone Carmelo Hayes. I do. But I want Carmelo to have a lengthy reign as champion. You know? Needs to have a lengthy reign. Moving on. So, we see footage from earlier in the day with Thea Hail stumbling out of a training session with Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. She's hurting, and Dempsey says he'll see her tomorrow. She yells back and says she'll be there. Duke Hudson checks on Thea Hail, and she says they're teaching how to be tougher. And Duke is glad Thea Hail is taking all this serious, but he reminds her about the Nitro Battle Royal and how she can't just be smashing people. So she puts him in like a little wrist hold or whatever, so I like that. So, pretty good. Again, I'm still worried about where's Andre Chase. He's been gone for quite some time. I don't know where he is. Again, I don't know if he's injured or what, but he hasn't been seen in quite some time. So, I don't know. This leads us into our first match of the night. That being the Creed Brothers and Ivy Nile versus Ava Raine and the Dyad, which was a very good, solid match here. I enjoyed it. Really good spots. And then in the end, Ava gets the win. So towards the end of the match, Ivy Nile applies the Dragon Sleeper to Reed. So that's Jacker Reed. And then Ava then brings her mask in and then hits Ivy with it for the 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, what? Such a non-boring finish. Like, it was boring. Like, it happened within a snap of a finger. I'm like, damn, come on, man. So Schism, they win, which is fine, I guess. Next. So we see we see Stacks visiting Tony D in jail. This was great. I love this segment right here. So Tony's doing good, all things considered. Stacks has a woman named Kim Kardashian making fun of Kim Kardashian, which is great. Trying to get Tony out. He says she gets people off well. Tony laughs. And Stacks may want to reword that. So Stacks and Tony agree that Gallus put Tony in jail. Tony tells Stacks to forget about what Joe Gacy did last week. Be smart. This is a 3-on-1 situation, and it won't cut it. Stacks asks what he should do. The jailer responds and says, "Time's up." Tony says, "That's why you're the underboss. Figure it out." So I do like this. This is good right here. We all know that Stacks is the one who kind of screwed over Tony D. It would kind of make sense. I don't know who he can help out. Who he can get. We might see your boy Two Dimes, and then we might see Lucia. Remember, Lucia Cristanoli or whatever, he's the one that's a lawyer. So he might be able to get Tony D out of this whole situation. It's interesting to see what they'll do next, but I love this stuff. We see how Blair Davenport was revealed to be the mystery attacker last week, so that was pretty cool. So Mr. Stone up next. So Mr. Stone, he's trying to get Von Wagner to see a therapist, and Von Wagner decides to see a therapist. Von Wagner then tells the first guy to screw himself when he asks about anger management. Then the second guy was jacked up against the wall. So Stone pays both of the guys in cash. Then Mr. Stone says they're on the verge of a breakthrough if Von would just give it a chance. And then we see a man crying come out of the office next to, my bad. We see a crying man come out of the office of the next therapist. So Vaughn says there's no way he's doing this. That's not him. He also said, what would his dad think if he saw him crying? Vaughn goes to leave, but the doctor, a really cute blonde chick, comes through and comes walking out and calls his name. Vaughn changes his mind, tells Stone to wait outside, and he winks to the camera. So I thought this was pretty good little stuff right here. This is great. I like it. This is interesting. This makes Vaughn kind of interesting. I laughed when he did the wink, though. But that chick, damn. That's a really good therapist right there. So, yeah, this could work, though. This could very well work. I'm not opposed to it. If this gets him over, if this gets him to open up, and we can get a character out of this and see why, he is the way that he is, then I'm fine with it. So this does make sense. Can't wait to see what they do next with that. Next, Danny Palmer versus Blair Davenport. So there was no promo for this. There was no anything for this. This just occurred. And then Danny Palmer showed no intensity in this at all either. Like, she didn't go after, beating down Blair Davenport. She could have done it where she met her at the ramp and the two started brawling then. That's what I would have done if I was booking this. But it's okay, I guess, Danny Palmer's still green. She's probably been in the PC for maybe about a good 5-6 months, if we're not being mistaken. I think Booker T mentioned that on commentary, that she got into WWE sometime last year. I think he said August or September. I can't remember. It was one of those two. But Blair Davenport wins with the Falcon Arrow, so I like that. So she's not using the stiff knee strike anymore. She's still doing the whole Falcon Arrow thing. It makes sense. So, post-match, Davenport looks at the camera and says a warning to the NXT Women's Division. So, that's fine, I guess. Moving on. So, Mackenzie Mitchell, she's backstage with Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton rants about how she's already elevated the title and goes on hyping herself up. Mackenzie asks for a prediction on tonight's main event, the Battle Royal. So Tiffany Stratton says Lyra Valkyria is the only one she sees as having a chance because of how Lyra pushed her in their match, but it won't matter because she'll retain her title against the winner. Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin gets the win here in a pretty decent, solid match here. I enjoyed it for the most part. Corbin wins via the end of days. So, post-match, Corbin gets on, looking to the camera and says, if anyone wants some, he'll be back next Tuesday. But for now, he's going to be on SmackDown to qualify for the Money in the Bank. I think that is the finals, isn't it? No, my bad. No, because we'll still have, 2 more slots open. I don't know. I'm not even paying attention to the men's Money in the Bank. What happened next? Oh, yeah. We got Nathan Frazier, his talk show, a new version of hard-hitting home truths. So, Nathan Frazier talks about the NXT Heritage Cup. The champion, Noam Dar, and his stablemates. So, Frazier says that hard-hitting truth, hard-hitting home truths is going to go global. He introduces his new senior international correspondent, that being Dragon Lee. Lee speaks in Spanish, and Frazier just says C. So Lee has 5 potential names for Dar's group. 2 Awful Chat, host plus 2. The Oral Mental Experience. The Jakara Jackson 5 minus 1. That was a good one. The long lost legend of Last Legend, or Noam's Ren of Friends. And Frazier mentions he'll have a title match with Dar next week, and Dragon Lee says he'll be in Frazier's corner next week. And Nathan Frazier thanks him. So this was okay, I guess. It doesn't matter. I hate what they're doing to my boy Dragon Lee. I guess when Nathan Frazier fails, it'll probably be Dragon Lee versus Noam Dar, and hopefully Noam Dar loses. I mean, I like Noam Dar. I'm glad he has a little entourage around him. But, I don't know. It was an okay little segment. So Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage again with Mustafa Ali. He said he came to NXT because as a free agent, he can do whatever he wants. He's writing his own story, and this next chapter will see him become champion. Then Wesley comes in, and he says he's excited to have Ali in NXT. Lee mentions a title shot, but Ali cuts him off. Ali says he doesn't want to be handed a shot. He wants to earn it, starting the night with Joe Gacy. They have some friendly words, and Ali heads out. So this leads us into Joe Gacy versus Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali gets a quick win via a roll-up. With the 450 splash. Post-match, the dyad, they attack Ali, and then Gacy joins in, and then Tyler Bate and Wesley, they make the save. And Ali gets into the camera, and he wants a 6-man tag next week, which I figured that's what all this was going to lead to anyway. 6-man tag action. Moving on. Briggs and Jensen, they were backstage typing up Fallon Henley for the main event. So she leaves, and then Idris Enofe and Malik Blade interrupt and mention how they may fight each other after it helped Briggs and Jensen, as well as Hank and Tank. So Hank and Tank show up, and Briggs and Jensen leave with them to celebrate Fallon after she wins. And then Blade and Enofe turn the invite down, and Gallus walks up by Enofe and Blade, and then stop and insult them. How about they won't win the titles? And then Gallus walks off, and this leads to Enofe and Malik Blade finally agreeing to fight each other next week. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? Come on, Shawn Michaels. Come on, dog. Don't be doing this shit, man. We don't need this. Now, I do like Gallus being the ones to kind of, I guess, issue a little challenge with Malik Blade and Idris Enofe, because those guys are good, and I like their look, and they're solid. They could be something if they would just be given an actual chance. Have them beat Hank and Tank, have them beat Briggs and Jensen, and keep building them up. And, maybe we can build something between Idris Enofe and Malik Blade versus Gallus. Hopefully. That's what I would be doing. Eddie Thorpe. No, my bad. Noam Dar. He's backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell and the rest of his faction. So Dar puts over each member and says they're all shooting stars. Oro Mensah goes on about how Dar was the only one who believed in him, and Dar goes on praising Last Legend and Jakara Jackson, who is sexy as shit. Lash looks pretty decent as well. No, she's not wearing as much makeup Mackenzie asked about Nathan Frazier's challenge next week. And Dar says he'll never lose the Heritage Cup. So, yeah. Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp. Eddie Thorpe wins. Really don't care. So, again, Eddie Thorpe is not impressive. He would be better off in Impact, if we're being honest. Like, let's be serious. Like, that's really where he should have went to. Like, as soon as he got ready to leave New Japan, he should have instantly went to Impact. He's not ready for AEW. Like, if he had been on the Indies, in New Japan for like 4, 5, 6 years or whatever, I could see that. But I forgot how long he was in New Japan anyway. He was just doing Super Junior stuff anyway, so it's not really that important. Next, Gigi Dolan, she's on the phone backstage with her brother discussing the main event. Kenna James walks up. They trade some insults. Then Dabba-Kato walks by them both, and then they just become silent because of his height. This leads us into a nonsensical match where I wanted to throw my damn TV with this shit. That being Dabba-Kato versus Scripps. So Axiom in the middle of this gets involved. Scripps gets the win because Dabba-Kato, like a dumbass clown, gets distracted by Axiom. And this is stupid. Again, this is the most devastating finish in the world. The roll-up. Come on. I mean, are you kidding me? Dabba-Kato is like, what, 6'6", maybe 240, 250, 260, maybe 270, who knows? I'm just throwing shit out there. You mean to tell me you couldn't kick out of a fucking roll-up, my guy? Really? A damn roll-up? And why are we still calling Reggie Scripps? Why? Just call him Reggie. Shawn Michaels, man, what are you doing? And then post-match, Dabba-Kato takes out both Axiom and Reggie. I lost my train of thought. I was so angry. Again, I hate shit like this. This is nonsensical. This doesn't even need to be on television. Moving on. Schism, they're backstage. Joe Gacy, he's pissed off. He's furious. Gacy says he's sick of Wesley and Tyler Bates' fake friendship and Ali's positive behavior, and says next week they'll be exposed. The dyad says the Schism made a statement tonight with their win and showed how they're still strong. Gacy says they're right, but he has failed twice now. Gacy says he needs to think things over and he needs to think things over and rectify certain things. So the dyad says they have Gacy's back next week, and then they walk off. I wonder why Ava Raine went in this battle royal. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but again, she has her own little storyline. Again, this is starting to come off as like very super villainish with Joe Gacy, saying I failed. It's like, bro, like, this isn't Power Rangers. This isn't Superman. This isn't Batman. Like, bruh, like, calm down. This is pro wrestling. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, who cares? Like, we knew you were gonna fail anyway. But he sounded like very much like a Saturday morning cartoon supervillain. With how he worded everything. I failed, you guys. I failed. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, calm down. It's not that serious. So this leads us into the main event. The number one contenders battle royal. So Thea Hail gets the win. So it came down to Dana Brooke, Cora Jade, and Thea Hail. And then Thea Hail eliminates both of them. and I'm fine with this. I forgot to mention that Dana Brooke had a promo earlier on in the show. I forgot to mention that. It's not in the website's notes I'm looking at. I'm reading this from. I don't know why they didn't add it in here. Maybe they weren't paying attention or whatever, but it is what it is. I forgot to mention that she had a backstage segment. It didn't last long though. It was maybe like 5 to 10 seconds. But she was just saying why she was here. She was just here for the Battle Royal because she's a free agent. That's all she said. Nothing more, nothing less. Thea Hail winning is fine, but this is something that we can do within like a couple weeks. At least a couple weeks. The closing segment, which is interesting, but at the same time, it's also kind of out there. And I don't know why they're doing this, but we're going to talk about it. So, post-match, the entire Chase U locker room, they come out and celebrate with Thea Hail. And then the new WWE NIL athletes, they celebrate. And then the Kender or the Kavener twins, whatever they're called, they host up Thea Hail in the air. So, and then we also see Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey applauding Thea Hail from the entrance. So that was pretty cool. This is great right here. So, Bron Breakker, who I also forgot to mention, attacked Ijla Dragunov earlier on in the show. Blindsided him. He has a message. He's in the parking lot, and nobody's going to attack Bron. Like, the guy's massive. So, a cameraman asked Bron why he attacked Ijla earlier on in the night. Bron says because he's not letting Dragunov spit out that nonsense about being the most intense in NXT. Who are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Bron says he's going to start holding everyone accountable from top to bottom. Damn. Bron says, speaking at the top, how about the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, Monday Night Rollins, the workhorse of WWE. Bron calls out Rollins to prove it. Bron says Rollins was the first NXT champion, and Bron was the most dominant. So why don't Seth Rollins come to NXT and put his title on the line against Bron? And then Breakker walks off and NXT goes off the air. I thought that was good. That was great. I'm guessing that they're doing this just as a ratings ploy to get people to watch. Again, we don't need this right now. And this thing is exclusive to Monday Night Raw. So I have no idea why the hell Bron is saying this. And I get they're on the USA Network, right? But it doesn't matter. Again, this thing is Raw exclusive. So it's going to be interesting to see how Seth Rollins responds to this. But it's interesting, but we don't need this. Like, we really don't need this. And I don't even know why this even closed the show. But Seth Rollins will probably more than likely oblige anyway. He'll probably say some shit about it on Twitter first, and then he'll probably just, address Raw with it next week. So he's going to do it anyway. This gets him more TV time anyway. So it is what it is. This was an okay show, but what did you guys think? Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.